Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to make your own flu arrows. I've been doing this for years since I was little. I don't buy pre-made arrows, I just make my own. You can use these practicing in the yard, shooting up in the air, ducks, geese, pheasants, whatever. I use them rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting, and just for practice. You can tie stuffed animals up in the trees and shoot at them. You normally won't lose your arrows with a flu because the wind resistance is so great it slows your arrow down a lot faster than it would with your standard 4 to 5 inch feather or vane. So here's what I got. I have a couple Carbon Express arrows. I got an old bitzenburger fletching jig. My grandpa had this. He was fletching his arrows when he was shooting professionally for bear archery back in the recurve field archery tournaments. This thing's older than me, and I'm 35. And I have the straight fletch. I'm going to do 2 arrows and show you. We'll do one, your standard 3 fletch, and then the next we'll do a 4 fletch. And I might do another arrow and show you what I do with my scraps from when you cut these feathers down. So I'll just use the length of this straight jig right here. Take your pair of scissors and come in there and snip the back. There's one. And for another step, after your arrow is all fletched, the point of these feathers, when you draw back, it's usually up and it'll tickle your eye and get up in your eye. So right now you can eliminate a step of doing it later. You can just follow the profile of this and make them all pretty and round them off. Do it just like that. This is so easy. Anybody can do it. We're going to go ahead and do our 3 feathers, because we're going to do the standard 3 fletch first. And they don't have to be perfect, which normally they turn out perfect. You can do this with turkey feathers, but when you kill your turkey or whatever feathers you get from the turkey that's on the side of the road or in your chicken coop or whatever, you'll have to split the quill, which that's the quill, and you'll have to go through and sand those down and do whatever it takes to make it work.
Get that plastic off of there.
I know with most of you that's never done this, you can watch me do this and you'll have a good idea without me going into great detail on how it's done. So, yeah, I could have left that one in there. You load you a feather up in there, and it helps sometimes to leave it up off of the base of that clamp just a little bit for when you press it on there. You take your arrow. For those of you who've never done this, there's a little slot in there. Your knock fits it perfect. You cannot mess this up. I use Loctite super glue gel from Walmart because I don't like ordering the same glue you would from an archery magazine. If you're going to comment and try to change my mind on how glues are different, don't even bother, because I've used them all and this works. I've been using it for years. I glue inserts in with that, the clear Gorilla glue from Walmart. Go right up into town and grab it. So I'll just run a bead of this gel on there. And you don't need to get crazy with it. A nice thin bead always works, because it'll smash down on there nicely. And you just kind of check it over. Make sure it's all pressed down on there good. Be right back, I'll show you another thing. Okay, when you're helical fletching these feathers on, which we're not, we're straight fletching. When it's pressed down on that arrow, you can go down on there. Use the tip of a knife. Just go through there and press the quill of that feather down, just in case some of it's flopped up. And it's as simple as that. It's been about a minute. After that's done, take the clamp off. You take that feather kind of replicating a helical on there, but it's not. It's just, it was all bent over in the bag, which is not affecting anything. You take that dial, it clicks as it goes around. Number 3 feather's done. Pop that clamp. There you go. Something that I do after you fletch that arrow. Just check it over good. Grab your glue and dab the ends, front and back. Before I started shooting blazers, just a few years ago, this is what I've always hunted with. 5-inch shield cut feathers. And then I tried blazers. I killed my first deer with a blazer vane like 3 years ago. But as far as it being my first deer, that's not even close. So there you go. That's a finished product. You're ready to let that sucker rip fletch. On these bitzenburgers, there's 3 settings. The 120 degrees, your 3 fletch. We're going to go to the 90. That's your 4 fletch. So you'll back out that 120 degree, screw in your 90, turn that so it clicks. Make sure we're seated and you're good to go there. You can stick your arrow in there so you're ready. But for now, I don't have any feathers cut for the 4 fletch, and I'm not going to use the full length like I did there out of the clamp. So we'll just do this. I'm a big eyeballer most of the time. So here's what you do. You can go half of this jig, or I could get a tape measure and measure it, but I'm not going to. You just go half of that jig and snip it. And that looks close enough for what we're going to do. Right there. So then you just take that feather, that whatever length you want. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. And you just use it as your gauge. That one's too short. We can use this one. Get your little gauge. Right there, there's 3. We need 1 more. I have children in the background. They're destroying things. And a wife that's yelling at me. Okay, there's 4 feathers for the 4 fletch. On these, normally when I do my feathers for hunting arrows, I go to the second mark up from the back because I don't want to get it too close to the back of the arrow. Because when I shoot feathers, the feather will come back and touch the tip of my nose. And that's just where it lands. Same thing, just lay a bead on there and we're going to stick it on the arrow. Press it down hard and let it sit. Alright, fourth feather's done. Don't you guys mind all this deep breathing and hacking? I pulled a muscle between my shoulder blades, and I'm pretty sure it was a few weeks ago that the last week's of deer season was coming to a close. My string stretched out on my bow, and whatever happened, I was out here angrily shooting like hundreds of arrows trying to get the thing back to hitting like I like. So I think with all that constant motion, you know, using your bow muscles, I must have done something, which is weird, but it happened. So that's why I'm taking all these deep breaths, but hopefully it goes away here soon. Alright, there's your 4-fletch. Looks real nice. Real nice for a squirrel or a flying turtle dove or whatever you just want to do with it. So these, you can either cut these back, cut them at an angle, or you can just cut them straight. I usually just cut these things off straight here so it don't get in your eyes. And I shoot split finger. I anchor top finger right there on my cheekbone. Middle finger's almost in the corner of my mouth. So that would put that feather, you see that one? That one would be right up in here. That's why I cut them down. But I really like the short feathers, 4-fletch. Either one works. And again on this one, when you're done fletching it, you go ahead and just dab the ends. It'll prevent them from getting ripped off. Flu arrows are good for anybody. Release shooters, traditional, bare bow, compound, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anybody can shoot these, and they're fun. Go out in the woods stump shooting. And you just check, maybe you might see a little air gap. There's 2 arrows done. I got like 10 more, but I don't think I'll do them right now. I'm going to show you guys a couple shots with some flus I have made up over here, just so you get the idea. Okay, here's a 3-fletch like we just done right there. I'll get this one ready, and there's a worn out 4-fletch. It still works, but we'll shoot 2 at the bore from inside here at the target. Let me put a couple field points on. I'll shoot this big 3-fletch first. Here you guys go. This is what we just done. But these are different arrows. These are gold tip arrows. Same fletch job, whatever. Now I'll have to hold higher than my normal blazer vane setup. This is about 43 yards from inside the house out the window to my bore target out there. Died off at the last second. It was going right in there. Here's the 4-fletch. Alright, so there you guys go. You know how to make flu arrows now. I took those couple shots just to show you the trajectory of them. That 3-fletch, I was holding probably, I would say 2 foot above that deer, or the hog target, and it dropped off that much. And that 4 fletch, it carries a little more distance with the shorter feathers. So I held in the same spot and I hit that much high. So that's just it. When these things get out there about 50 yards, man, they just fall out. You can find your arrow, you shoot them way up in the air, you'll see that big old poof ball flying. Big yellow ball, it'll stick down on the ground in the pasture. I shoot at stuff out here. So, just another fun thing you can do with arrows and your bow.